It's the Poojie Podcast, proudly sponsored by Cimarron Golf Club. What is going on, Pooj crew? Thank you for being here for episode 109 of the Poojie Podcast. Glad you can join us today. If you're listening on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe and comment, like, share the video. If you are listening on the go, feel free to go and follow us on YouTube, subscribe as well. Or if you're on YouTube and you want to listen to us on the go, find us on Spotify, iHeart, Google, whatever, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your services. But wherever you are listening, thank you for tuning in. We are live on Facebook as well. Go check out the Poojie Podcast on Facebook to watch with us live. You get to watch the content first. And if you can't tell by my voice, we're just extremely excited to be here talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, there's nothing we'd rather be doing on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. than talking about God's team. This is America's team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to welcome in the guys real quick. We got Big Mooch here and GM Leggett, Sam and Luke. Thank you both for being here and braving the storm of a Sunday loss and coming back to do this.
Yeah, it's been tough, man. I feel like Jackson DeVille out there.
Just jumping off scoreboards. I should have put that picture behind me.
That should be like your cover picture for the podcast.
Was anyone else in line behind him just ready to jump off the scoreboard? I mean, I was climbing up the ladder to get on top of the scoreboard to jump off after Jackson DeVille.
I think your quote was leaving the stadium, I'm trying to find the tallest point to jump off of. And I was like, well, Jackson's already found it.
Trying to find the tallest point in Jacksonville to jump off of to the deepest depths of the earth. I mean, this team is killing me, guys. This team is not allowing me to live life to the fullest. And it sucks because it's by choice. Like, we are I just want to make one thing clear to everyone listening and to both of you. We are voluntarily choosing to be fans of this team. No one is forcing us to do this. No one is forcing us to be a fan of this team. You can say we're from Jacksonville, but we are doing this on our own self-will. Are we psychotic?
Yo, is it like Stockholm syndrome where like the longer you hang out with like your
your captor,
abuser or your captor or your kidnapper, you suddenly become like affectionate or like you feel bad for them?
Yeah, that's actually exactly how I feel.
So that's basically probably the phenomenon that all Jags fans have.
And let me make another thing clear real quick. We're all UCF fans on top of being Jaguar fans. So for the last 5 to 10 years, I've been able to like just use Sunday as a day of rest and like, okay, the UCF win was great. And now I get to watch my team lose just to bring me back to reality before the week starts. Like, people talk about Sunday scaries. I have Saturday scaries. Knowing I have to watch the Jags on Sunday. And it makes my Saturday nights like, okay, how obliterated drunk do I want to get tonight? That way I maybe don't go to the game tomorrow or am at least still drunk when I'm at the game to watch this team. I mean, our expectations for this season were like, not extremely high, but we were expecting to see good performances out of certain people. Maddie making an appearance on the podcast. His Dolphins did not do too well. Does Maddie want to comment on the Dolphins real quick?
No, I don't think he has anything to say about that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after just talking as much shit as we possibly can about the Jags, Sam, do you have anything to chime in about with the Jaguars?
No, I was like thinking about that today, like how the pre-season episode we did, we were all like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna get like six to 7 wins this season. I'm just thinking about that like today at work. Like, yeah, okay, that's yeah. If we can even get on track to get like our first win, I think how many weeks do you think till then? Like, that's what we should be discussing at this point.
Oh my God, yeah. Let's make that discussion real quick because I think we go Arizona. Does anyone have the schedule readily available?
I thought you were about to say, does anyone think we're going to beat Arizona?
Yeah.
No, I'm not that dumb. I mean, guys, 17 straight regular season losses.
That's insane.
17 straight.
I think
that's
What was that, like?
6th in NFL history.
Yeah, I'm pulling up a Jag schedule.
We
go Cardinals at home, away to Cincinnati, Titans at home, Dolphins at home. Oh, that's in London actually.
Second
Yeah,
in London.
yeah. Oh, then it's a bye week, and then it's away at Seattle, home to the Bills, who gave us this tough schedule. We're away at the Colts, home at the Niners. All right, home at the Falcons. Count it. We'll win that one. November 28th.
Oh my God. By that point, the team is going to be so discouraged to even step on the field. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense to even look for a win, to be honest. I just know it's not coming this week against the Cardinals, but we'll get into that real quick. But let's recap this Broncos-Jags game. Started off hot. Luke, Sam, either of you just take the reins here and just kind of walk me through the start to this game.
Yeah, it was beautiful. First drive, right? Let's go down the field, do what we need to do. All throws, of course. We don't like to run the ball on the first few drives. So it was like, oh, wow, we can actually, move down the field without running it. And then that quickly came to an end after the first drive. But, I mean, it was a beautiful first drive. Trevor looked on point. O-line was blocking. People were catching the ball. But, yeah, that was short-lived.
Yeah, it looked like a football team was on the field. And what's so funny about that is they talk a lot, like the media talks a lot about how teams will, not game plan. What's the word I'm looking for?
They'll script their first 15.
Right.
They will script. Yeah. They will script the game call, the play calling ahead of the game. So it's almost like we script it, just a great first drive, and then we were just satisfied with that. Like, okay. And then Denver makes an adjustment after one drive, and we looked like a Pop Warner team that could have been playing up at MAA or like MSA or something after that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, 118 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. In our defense, gives up 358 yards to Teddy Bridgewater and 160 yards to Cortland Sutton. We were hopeful that we might be able to maintain something because Jerry Jeudy was out. Their running game is not the best in the world. Their leading rusher, Javonte Williams, 64 yards. So, but why would they run the ball? Like, why even run the ball? They're dominating us in the pass game. Like, there's no reason to run the ball when you can't defend the pass.
Right. Like, why, do 7 run plays to get 70 yards when you can just throw it one time and get that pretty much guaranteed? I don't know. It's like, okay, so are we the wide receiver breakout game for all these teams? We got Cortland Sutton, wide receiver one season. We gave Brandon Cooks his, So, who are we playing this week? Was it Rondell?
Oh, D-Hop. D-Hop's going to feast.
I think they want to get their rookie involved in this game. They're going to want to, let's
I don't even know who the backup is for the Arizona Cardinals, but my hot take is the backup quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals will have more FanDuel points than Trevor Lawrence this week.
It's Colt McCoy.
There's no way.
I mean, if Kyler Murray plays after halftime, what are they doing? Like this game. All right, well, we'll get to it. I'm sorry. We'll get to it. But
I kind of wish after the first drive that they would put on the scoreboard, you can all go home now. That was all the fun we're going to have today.
You guys looked like you were having fun at the tailgate, though. Like, that was probably...
Yeah, we could have gone back and had more fun at the tailgate after that first drive.
Dang, I was kind of jealous, when I saw y'all's, pictures of that. And then, obviously,
Yeah, we were just...
in the hot sun is not ideal.
No, well, that is what it is. You just can't run away from that. We can't be little hobbits all the time. But what I will say, we had some pong going on, but a tradition unlike any other. Jaguars fans winning the tailgate. We get our winning done before the game starts. So we won the tailgate. That was good. I think Gus Bradley would have liked to hear that when he used to say, "Let's just win lunch." We won the tailgate. We had a great spread courtesy of my mom. My father was there as well. A lot of good friends, a lot of good people around, just to kind of enjoy the hot, blistering sun. I came in on a 6 a.m. flight from Louisville, so I was a walking zombie, as was Steph. So we had 2 zombie sightings at the tailgate as well. Hey, but we made do. It was, you said it, Sam, fun tailgate, drank a lot, ate a lot, got into the bud zone, continued to drink because we knew what was going to happen. And then we were just surprised looking up at the TV for the first drive, like, oh, we're not going to miss anything. Like, this is, whatever. And then first drive, beautiful touchdown to Marvin Jones. He finished with, I think, 55 yards and a touchdown. So a great first 2 games by Marvin Jones. But here, let me just put this out there real quick. And I said this on Twitter at jpooj17 for anyone that wants to go follow me. This was a throwaway year anyway. Like, this year was not, you don't draft your first overall quarterback and expect to go to the playoffs that year. Like, you're drafting him to build for the future. Okay. So this is a throwaway year anyway for the Jaguars. I'm not too concerned. I don't want to go 0-17. That's like the main goal in this whole thing is don't go 0-17, but it's a throwaway year. And people continue saying, oh, they should treat it like Mac Jones, throw 4-yard passes, do little slants, manage the game. I get that. But the reality is the Patriots are a contending team. Like, they have a chance to actually win 8 or 9 to 10 games just based on the quality of their roster outside of Mac Jones. This team we have here in Jacksonville does not have that composition that the Patriots have. So in my opinion, I have no problem with Trevor Lawrence taking shots downfield. I have no problem with him throwing risky passes. I don't have any problem with that. Get that out of his system now. Get that done with before year 2 and make sure that he learns from these mistakes, because we saw what he did in high school. We've seen what he did in Clemson. We know what we have in Trevor Lawrence. And I think he's a strong enough person mentally to get over one shitty year of football. Like, this isn't going to break him, but people want to put the bust label on him. No, the Jaguars are just bad. We are bad. It's not Trevor Lawrence. We would have been 0-2 with Blake Bortles or Blaine Gabbert or David Garrard. Any quarterback would be 0-2 right now with this team, with this roster. I mean, am I wrong in saying that? Any quarterback right now would be 0-2 with the pieces that are on the field.
So I'm assuming you saw a stat that Trevor Lawrence has the most 15-plus yard throws in the league right now.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he's number 1. And Mac Jones, who you brought up, is very low on the totem pole on that one. And maybe it's just the fact that he is just, I don't know if it's the play calling and it's designed to just throw bombs like it's in college, but the college and NFL game are different, where you throw the bombs downfield if you have like a Tyreek Hill or just like your athlete is better than their athlete. Where in the NFL, it's harder to do that. Where at Clemson, it was very much easier to do that. So I don't know if that's why the play calling is bad and designed for that, but he is number 1 for passes over 15 yards.
Yeah. In quick question, did they trade up to get Mac Jones at 15, or did they trade back to get what happened there? Or did they just stay at 15 and get, no, it was the Bears that traded up to get Justin Fields, right?
Yeah. Bears went up to get Fields. I don't know if the Patriots moved at all.
Okay. So here's the deal. Patriots draft Mac Jones at 15. What does that tell me? The Patriots were already a middle of the road team last year. Like, they were already an average team with a worse quarterback in Cam Newton. So the team around Mac Jones is already far better than what is around Trevor Lawrence. So there's two ways that you can build confidence in a quarterback. It's doing it the Mac Jones route, where you let him hit these little dink and dunk passes just to build confidence, see completions, get touchdowns, gain yardage. Or you have the self-recognition of the Jaguars and know, okay, our team's not good enough anyway to win games that way. Let's let Trevor Lawrence unleash it. Let's let him throw the ball downfield. Let's let him get these mistakes out of his system now. That way, moving forward, when, pray to God, we have a better team around him, he might have a little bit better understanding of how to read the defense, how to make the plays. So, Sam, what about you?
No, yeah, I saw that stat with Trevor Lawrence. I think, Zach Wilson was up there too with just, yeeting that.
I'll try and find it while you're talking. I'll try and find it.
And then I was gonna add, when Luke was saying that about Mac Jones, he is quoted Mac Jones saying, you got to take what the defense gives you in this league or whatever, which is kind of just like the opposite of like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson just kind of going deep. So that might be part of it. It might be play calling, but I also think it's, part of Mac Jones just not like putting the ball into harm's way. It's, it's part of his game. It's to manage it and let that defense, that New England defense do their thing. So especially against the Jets. I mean, like, that game was a blowout. It was 25-6 Patriots Jets, and Bill Belichick can scheme up against rookie quarterbacks, but like, that team's good without Mac Jones, and with Mac Jones, I think that they have a shot. So they got to, rein it in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mac Jones didn't step into the starting quarterback role with the Patriots and like that team become infinitely better. Down the road, yes, they would become infinitely better. But my thought process is the Patriots on paper are just a better football team anyway. And anyone that wants to sit here and compare the progress through 2 weeks between Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones is ignorant to the fact that the rosters are completely different. Because are you telling me that Bill Belichick's not sitting there saying, you think he would have taken Mac Jones number 1 overall if the Patriots had the first overall pick? No, he would have taken Trevor Lawrence, and the team would have a brighter future. And to be honest with you, Trevor Lawrence would probably be having a lot more success right now in New England. But the reality of the matter is Trevor Lawrence is on the worst roster in the NFL, right behind the Jets, where Zach Wilson is, and both guys are struggling. What's the stat with best like rookie quarterback statistic? Like Andrew Luck, I think, had 10 or 11 wins. Is that like something like that? He won 10 or 11 games in his first season.
Herbert had a lot last year.
Yeah, I think he won like 8 or 9. But funny you mentioned Herbert. Both those rookie quarterbacks were 1 year removed from a Pro Bowl, All-Pro quarterback that was on the team. So when you remove Phillip Rivers from the Chargers or you remove Peyton Manning from the Colts, the rest of the roster, for the most part, remains the same. You're taking away a star quarterback, but you're inserting, just like the Patriots, you take away Tom Brady, but for the most part, the composition of the roster remains the same. So these quarterbacks are going into positions, into opportunities where the roster is equally, if not better, than it was with their predecessor. Now, the Colts had one down year. I think it was Curtis Painter was starting for them. But around Curtis Painter was still, the great receivers and the running backs that the Colts had. So then Andrew Luck steps in, and what do you know? He already has a roster around him that is built like an 8-8 team or a 9-7 team. Now Andrew Luck can step in and go out and win 10 or 11 games because he already has the talent. Trevor Lawrence is the building block of this roster. He is the cornerstone of this roster. He is not coming in here to a team that is already ready to win. He's coming in here as the building block for a team that is growing to win, that is trying to learn how to win. And it's that simple to me. I mean, if you looked at average age of the roster, I'm sure the Jags would be in the bottom 5 as far as the youngest rosters. But we've been a young team forever. I mean, that's the drum that always gets beat by Jags fans and national media and stuff. So I'm still not worried about Trevor Lawrence really at all because we fully expected this team to be shit this year, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
Okay, I got it pulled up here. So in order, they do it by rate for total passing attempts and how many times you've thrown it deep. Trevor Lawrence is at the top, 25 passes over 15 yards or more with about a 30% rate. His second is Tom Brady, third Russell Wilson, and fourth is Derek Carr. Justin Fields and Zach Wilson are right in the middle. And I think that's it for rookie quarterbacks on here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go off what Peyton Manning said. If I'm a rookie quarterback or I'm a fan of a team with a rookie quarterback, I want him taking shots and taking chances to learn from them because you're not going to grow. You're not going to get better. Like, would we be sitting here happier if he took 5-yard routes and was completing 70% of his balls for 100 yards and, 1 touchdown? Like, would that make us happier? Are we upset by the performance because the completion percentage is low or the yardage is low or there's interceptions involved? Like, nothing that he could do would really change the complexion of the team or the chances the team could win. Like, the Broncos are just the better football team. They're 2-0 for a reason. They were just simply the better football team. And unfortunately, it's not a situation where Trevor Lawrence is going to make or break a win versus a loss. So I think the game is lost long before there's even a chance to win it, as weird as that sounds. Anything else from the game Sunday? I mean, here's what I'll say. It was kind of funny. It was bookmarked by 2 exciting moments. The touchdown to Marvin Jones on the first drive. Then Jamal Agnew, 102-yard kickoff return. He kind of paying for his contract right there, even though it was a meaningless touchdown. Great to see the special teams contribute.
Well,
defense,
two missed field goals. I mean, the game would be in reach. in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
a good
if you add those 2 field goals onto the score, that game is in reach in the fourth quarter, and we have something to talk about here.
That's true, because what was it? It was 7-3 at one point, and then it could have been 10-3, but it was a miss.
Yeah.
And then the Broncos came down and scored to make it 10-7. Then they scored again to make it 17-7, and then we could have kicked a field goal to make it 17-10, but missed. And then it just got out of reach. It just got out of hand. But you're exactly right. Like, when you're a team that's as shitty as the Jags, you can't leave points on the board, especially like kicking the ball. You have to make your kicks. Josh Lambo is now 0-3 on the year with field goals, so that's not too good. That's not good at all.
That's like the amount of kicks he missed like in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's awful.
Right.
But missing kicks does not build confidence for the offense, because now Trevor Lawrence just sits there and says, Jesus, okay, no matter how far I can push the ball downfield, this guy's not going to make a field goal. Like, we can't put points on the board anyway. It doesn't make a difference. So it's very demoralizing, I think, all around. And like, missing kicks, being a bad team with a bad kicker is like the worst of the worst, because when we used to be awful with Josh Scobie, we were at least excited when he would make a 40-yard field goal and give us free Firehouse subs. But now it's like, we can't even rely on our kicker, who literally the whole week, all he has to do is kick field goals. Like, he doesn't have to do anything else.
Yeah, they got to get Verben out there kicking those things. I feel like, honestly, like,
it was wet, and I think they were pretty far, but still, yeah, you don't want to miss.
Well, in
2 field goals at home when you haven't. I don't think he's missed one at home yet.
Right. In the last 5 years. Crazy.
Trevor Lawrence had a pass, kind of like a flag route, right when it started pouring, that got away from him and kind of went over the head of the receiver, was just way out there. I mean, then he followed it up with like a 5-yard first down scramble. But yeah, the team's just not built to win yet. But that being said, I think us as fans, as bad as we want to talk about the team, we have to understand we're on a 17-game losing streak. 15 of those games are not by way of this team. Like, in my eyes, this team is on a 2-game losing streak. Yeah, it could get worse before it gets better. But in my eyes, Urban Meyer has lost 2 games in a row. Trevor Lawrence has lost 2 games in a row. They're not on the 17-game losing streak. So let's cut them some slack. Let's give them a break. Let's see what they can do. We were extremely excited about Urban in the offseason. We were extremely excited about Trevor in the offseason. So let's see what they can do. Let's briefly look ahead to the Cardinals game and just take a look at every single mismatch that's about to happen. Sam, do you want to – what?
No, it's just that's a funny way to put it. I mean, we can start by talking about like the offensive firepower of the Cardinals, and then the fact that we're missing 2 of our starting, defensive backs. So,
who's out on defense?
Yeah. I just think Trey Herndon's going to be out, and honestly, like, if he was healthy at the beginning of the year, do you think he would have started over Campbell? Like, let's be real. I think he would have, personally.
Yeah, he would have.
And because he's a rookie, I mean, like, and like we haven't started any of our rookies, so it's like, I mean, we do need help with the cornerback. But anyways, so C.J. Henderson, Trey Herndon, they're both out. The strength of the Cardinals is obviously their passing attack. So it'll just be interesting, to say the least.
Interesting is not a way to put it. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Right. It's like the Tampa Bay Bucks. You're playing fantasy, daily fantasy, and you got to pick one of these guys. And it's just like, all right, which one's going to go off, against the Jags. So like last week, we had, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, like you'd expect like them to just go off in fantasy. But I mean, Jags can actually stop the run. So it's the wide receiver ones now against the Jags in 2021, whereas prior years, it's usually the running back.
Also, Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt are going to be running after Trevor Lawrence as he's running for his life. So
they should sit Trevor Lawrence this week,
just to keep him safe.
Yeah,
just throw it deep. Just throw it deep. Get rid of the
He's
ball.
Been doing that.
I know. Get rid of it.
And not to mention Tyrann Mathieu picked off 2 passes. Who was it? No, that was with the Chiefs. Sorry.
Yeah, he's on the Chiefs now.
That was against Lamar Jackson. They have Budda Baker. That's who I was thinking of. So they have just a real good all-pro secondary as well. It's just Yeah, I mean, interesting is one way to put it in an optimistic outlook, but I don't really think it's going to be too close from the very beginning. It's going to be difficult to watch, but again, like that's what happens. We were optimistic about the Texans game. We were optimistic about the Broncos game, but from the very beginning, we knew this game was going to be tough. Like we knew this game was the game where it was like, okay, if we are on our high horse, this is going to be the game where things fall apart. So I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, and add to it, I mean, the Cardinals lost in spectacular fashion last week to the Titans. So if you think they're going to come out, you think this is any kind of like trap game. I don't think that it is.
No, they lost. They beat the Vikings
by 1.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking
They
of the
beat
Seahawks.
The Seahawks lost
right,
to the Titans last week.
That's right.
Yeah.
In overtime.
So we'll get to predictions here in a second. Let's other places in week 2. Sam, did you get a chance to watch all the games again like you always do?
I always do. I put the Jags game on the big screen, and then I put Red Zone on the small screen. And I think this week I might switch.
It'll be the same. The Jags will be on the big screen because the Cardinals will be in the 20-yard line.
Oh, that's true. So and I stream it. Yeah. And so they're always off. But I mean, it's just like, yeah, I watched all the games pretty much, like all this Red Zone and watched,
so the
like
1 o'clock games were pretty mundane for the most part. Bears over Bengals 20-17. Browns over Texans 31-21. Rams over Colts 27-24. I think the Colts held in there a lot tougher than I thought they would. Bills obliterate the Dolphins, and that was just an ugly game, 35-0. Patriots over Jets. What's up, Luke?
I thought you said the Bears, because I was going to say the Bears let way for Justin Fields.
The Bears did. They announced he's starting this week, right?
Yeah, they just did, I think, today.
Yeah.
So
that'll be exciting.
I just know that Allen Robinson is going to get like 2 targets for like 2 yards. I'm so stoked that fantasy pick is going to go. But I mean, you never know. You just never know. You got to start your studs, but it's just like, I just don't see, I don't know.
It's going to diminish the value of a lot of the offensive weapons on the Bears, just because where Andy Dalton would likely be forcing the ball into some tight places, maybe giving them a chance to make a catch. Justin Fields is going to trust his legs a little bit to maybe move and run and get out of the pocket. Right. So yeah, it's gonna damage the value of A-Rob and so on. Patriots over Jets 25-6. Niners over Eagles 17-11. Raiders over Steelers 26-17. That was kind of a bit of a surprise. Are the Raiders legit? They beat the Ravens Monday Night Football week 1. They beat the Steelers week 2. Is this a team to look out for?
So I read some stats today. Like Steelers defense the last 2 years was like 30th and 29th in like average, points allowed or whatever, yards allowed. This year they're 11th. And Derek Carr is playing better at quarterback. So they signed 2, free agents. And these free agents apparently, according to like PFF or whatever, have like been the best values or whatever. So, you get Yannick Ngakoue, who's been playing really well, and also Casey Hayward. So they both signed kind of like, average deals, not average deals, but like fair team deals. And they're both, outplaying those deals already. So I think their defense definitely is improved, which is why I picked them up to play against the Dolphins this week. But we'll see. I think Derek Carr is for real. So, let's see where they go. I wouldn't write him off this year, though.
Yeah, especially I feel like with a quarterback like Derek Carr, a lot of times in the NFL, like quarterback 7th, 8th year in the league, like they kind of already have their identity. But this is really only his 3rd year with John Gruden, 2nd year with John Gruden. So
right, and the emergence of Henry Ruggs too. I mean, like let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe they got weapons.
Maybe this is the rebirth of Derek Carr kind of finally being on a stable organization, stable roster. Same question. Panthers over Saints 26-7, another undefeated team. The Panthers with Sam Darnold upset the Saints after the Saints upset the Packers 38-3 in week 1. Are the Panthers legit? Is this a sustainable team? The Panthers, I mean, their defense has stepped up miraculously over the last 2 weeks. Or did they just catch J-Boo wins on a bad week where he was just throwing interceptions like they were hotcakes?
Right. Yeah, my boss was saying like the Panthers D was for real, and I was like, what? But that's what apparently people are saying. I don't know. Like, where is it coming from? Is it just all around? Just I don't know.
Well, they're gonna
Better
have another
team.
good week this week. They're playing the Houston Texans with Davis Mills as the starting quarterback. So look for the Panthers to start 3-0 this year. Put some pressure on the Bucs in the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers, Cardinals, Vikings. Really, I'm glad we got home for the 4:00 games because all the 4:00 games were pretty exciting for the most part. I mean, it was like,
Right.
Cardinals, Vikings went down to the wire. The Vikings missed a field goal at the very end to lose the game. That's crazy. It just seems like the Vikings constantly have kicking issues, and that was a back and forth battle. Buccaneers defense over the Falcons, 48-25. Luke, did you get to see any of this game, or were you on the way home?
No, the only one I watched after from Jacksonville is Sunday night.
Okay. What about you, Sam? Bucks, Falcons, the 2 pick sixes by the same guy on the Bucks defense?
Oh my God, no, I didn't see any of
It
that.
was-
I was probably passed out then. But
It was a close game.
Yeah.
It was a close game through about 3.5 quarters, and the Bucks ended up winning 48-25 because of 2 pick sixes. So, and my fantasy team still lost. So that's great.
nice.
Cowboys over Chargers, 20-17. Interesting game there.
That was an overtime one, or was it like?
No, it was at the very
close?
end, but did
Okay,
you see how
very
it
end.
ended? You see how it ended,
I
Sam or Luke?
I think I saw highlights. I don't really quite remember what
was just
happened.
God awful clock management. They threw the ball inbounds, got up to like the 40 yard line, 39 yard line, and they didn't have any timeouts, but no one was like hurrying up. There was like 7 seconds left, and no one was hurrying up or anything, and like they were about to let the clock expire. Like there was no urgency. So then like Dak takes the hike and like ends up spiking it, or maybe they call a last second timeout. But anyways, they could have probably gotten another 10 yards. So then they rush Greg Zuerlein out there to kick the game-winning 56-yard field goal. And it looked like, oh, what a great win, but it should not have been as close as it was as far as the field goal goes. It was just awful clock management. And then we mentioned Titans over Seahawks. Derrick Henry. Sam, you want to elaborate on Derrick Henry and the Titans beating the Seahawks?
Yeah, so it was like 24-7 at halftime or something like that. And then like this offensive staff was finally like, I guess the first, week I was kind of concerned that Derrick Henry was like, are they going to be able to use him like the previous coaching staff used him? But you see in like the second half, they just started feeding him, and he ended up with 35 touches for like 240 yards or something like that with 6 receptions, mind you, which for Derrick Henry is an outlier performance in terms of, the receiving game. So it's like the new coaching staff was finally like, all right, let's just give this guy the ball, and then let's actually feed him the ball out of the backfield. And then was the result. So it's encouraging for that team, it's like they found their identity again. But
yeah,
it was pretty exciting to watch that because my girlfriend's like a Seattle Seahawks fan. So like, and I have Derrick Henry on my like fantasy team. So it was less like, I'm just in the back, like smiling as he's just like bowling over defenders. And
I'm like, I'm literally crying. My percentages to win on fantasy during that game, because Max had Derrick Henry. I think Seabass has Derrick Henry. I was 90% to 10% to win going into the second half of that game. And Derrick Henry put up about 30 points fantasy in the second half. And that leads us to our next game. I lost by 11 points because Clyde Edwards-Helaire in Sunday Night Football did absolutely nothing. And the Ravens come back to beat the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson's first win over Patrick Mahomes, 36-35. So, Luke, talk about that game real quick.
Yeah, that game was very interesting for me. I had a chance to win. I had 2 players going. I had Lamar Jackson going, and I had Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill did like absolutely nothing. And he had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire also did nothing. But luckily, Lamar Jackson, he ran it in for the touchdown to put him over the top. And then as the Chiefs are running down to like get a field goal, they're in field goal range almost. Clyde Edwards-Helaire then fumbles the ball, Lamar Jackson takes a knee. I love the play call at the end too, where they're like show Coach Harbaugh like yelling at Lamar, like, "Do you want to go for it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go for it." Yeah, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, a great game.
You could like read his lips. He's just like,
"You want to go for it?" And he's like, "Yeah, fucking go for it."
That was pretty. Yeah, it'd be great to have a competitive team like that here in Jacksonville. But great win by the Ravens, 36-35. I know Matt was happy. I'm surprised I didn't wake up. I knocked out immediately when I got home after the Jags game from coming back from Louisville, just being dead tired, falling asleep in like the first quarter of all the games. And then I woke up and I was like, I have to go to bed. And then I just hear Matt yelling. Matt pretty much yelled me to sleep during that Ravens-Chiefs game. I was like in bed and like I just hear Matt in the living room going crazy. And I woke up and it was nice to see them win. And then final game was 35-17 Packers over Lions. But let's get to the Poojie three-piece combo games of week 3. Let's go through these real quick, fellas. Let's see which game we should do for the 1 o'clock game. We got Washington at Bills, Bears at Browns, Ravens at Lions, Colts, the 0-2 Colts at Titans, Chargers at Chiefs, Saints at Patriots, Falcons at Giants, Bengals at Steelers, Cardinals at Jaguars. Which one are we liking most for the 1 o'clock slate?
I'd take the Chargers and Chiefs to be the closest.
Dude, what about that Jags game though? That might be. You always got to throw a freebie in.
It's like the bingo free slot.
Yeah,
not doing that at all. I do also like the Chargers Chiefs. It's a 6.5 point line in favor of the Chiefs, but I feel like the Chargers always play them close.
Yeah, I mean they just played the Cowboys very close, and I think the Chargers are a good offense, so I just see it being like a high scoring game, and they could easily be within 6. So,
yeah, I say we go with that one. That's like the best one at 1 o'clock. Saints Patriots would have been good, or will likely be good, but it might. I don't know. I feel like the Patriots might do the same thing to James.
That could be an interesting one. I mean, to kind of like switch it up.
Did Jameis get LASIK again?
Double LASIK surgery.
LASIK twice.
What do you guys think?
Know, if there's anyone to like poke a hole in, like, I don't know, that defense, it'd be kind of cool if it was like Alvin Kamara and Jameis Winston. But yeah, I mean, the Kansas City, wasn't that last week's three-piece combo? Like the Kansas City, that's the only thing where I have. I'm like, I mean, we're gonna pick the Chiefs every game. It's gonna be close.
They were at Baltimore. You're right. You're right. We're gonna switch it up here. We're going Saints at Pats.
What was the one you said after that?
What's up?
What was the game you said after that?
Falcons Giants.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that.
Bengals Steelers. All right, no, we're going Saints Patriots, and then 4 o'clock. Yeah. We have Jets at Broncos, Dolphins at Raiders, Bucks at Rams, Seahawks at Vikings.
I think the last 2 are pretty good.
I'm up in the air on the last 2. They're both 1.5 point spreads.
Yeah, like I said, I think the last 2 are very competitive on both sides.
I like that Bucks one.
I do like the Bucks one too. I like the Bucks one. Yeah, I'm going that. All right. And then Sunday night should be actually a pretty good one after the Packers performance this week. So it's going to be Packers at Niners. And that is a 3.5 point spread in favor of the Niners. But I think Aaron Rodgers might be out for a vengeance, trying to prove the haters wrong after that shitty week 1 performance he had. So we'll see. Those are the 3 games. Again, on the Poojie Podcast Instagram. Fill it out. Screenshot it. Fill it out. Post it to your story. It's that simple. Just tag us. We will see it. Screenshot it. And you will be in as your entry to win some merchandise. Shout out to Big Gamer 69 for winning week 2. I think it's Big Gamer 69. I'm going to have to double check that for winning week 2. But he ends up winning off of a tiebreaker. He had 5 out of 9 correct and had closest to total turnovers combined. So you got to pick the winner of each game, the over-under of each game, and the total turnovers combined for each game. So it's pretty simple, 9 picks, and it's a lot of fun and gives you something to cheer about when your fantasy team is to shit like mine is already in week 2. So it's going to be a fun week. Anything else from you guys before we hang it up for the evening?
Cardinals 38, Jags 14.
Okay, let me write that down. Luke, 38-14.
Hmm.
All right, Sam.
Let's go like 33-21.
33-21 AZ. And I am going to go 41-13 Arizona. 41-13. We don't match up well anywhere on the field with Arizona. We will not win one matchup, whether it's on the offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, the wide receivers. They are simply, if you broke down the NFL into 8 positional groups, they are simply better than us in each one of the groups. So there is not a chance. Sorry for those out there listening that are Jaguar fans. There is zero chance that this game will be a bright spot on your Sunday. But luckily,
I don't know about zero chance. I think our wide receivers and match up pretty well with their cornerbacks. I mean, you mentioned, Buda Baker and, maybe Justin Simmons, and then their D line. But like, do you guys know any of the corners that play for the Cardinals? And then to remind you about last week, the Vikings, I don't even know what that dude's name was, but he just kept going deep and Kirk Cousins kept hitting him. So, I mean, I think there's a chance for the Jags to put up some points, especially with gunslinger, T-Law at the helm. But obviously, is it going to match up to the offensive firepower of the Cardinals? And then obviously the pass rush of the Cardinals is something else. I think that's what you're probably going to say about
that is where I'm hesitant, is for us to complete those passes. We have to have an offensive line that can keep Jones and Watt out of the backfield, and I'm not confident about that at all. So to complete deep passes, you got to give your quarterback time, and we are not capable of doing that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way wrong, but I went from week 1 being overly optimistic to now maybe I'm being overly pessimistic. And honestly, maybe there's no in between. Maybe that's just the way it is as a Jags fan. So those are the predictions. 38-14 Arizona by Luke, 33-21 Arizona by Sam, 41-13 Arizona by Justin. It's going to be an interesting week 3. Still some teams looking for their first win, some teams looking for their first loss as well. So we'll see how this week unfolds. Anything else from you guys? We're all set here. All right, fellas, thanks for being here. Those out there listening, thank you for listening, tuning into episode 109 of the Poojie Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Go enjoy the rest of your week and go enjoy your weekend. A lot of good college football on, a lot of good NFL games, but whatever you do, go make this world a better place and take care.
How can I be the man when you're the man? How can I be the man when you're the man? How can I be the man when you're the man?